we've got this bill here, or not this bill, this article here that I want to talk about, because it's really this is like the thing that they're going for with the inflation thing. Is they're tying it to, oh, you shouldn't expect anything from the government. The government doesn't care about you. And by the way, when we gave you those stimulus checks, that was bad, and so now you got to pay it back. Oh, yeah. Right, so we got this article here from Axios, from some really intelligent individuals, I should say. Senate Dems ditching BBB as inflation fix. So I'm going to read from this, and then I'll go to you when I'm done reading. Several Democratic senators facing re-election are looking past President Biden's stalled Build Back Better plans, ramping up other plans to try and ease voters' inflation fears. So there was a poll that came out that apparently inflation is the number one issue in America. That's the power of mainstream media. If you just keep saying inflation over and over and over again, Americans are going to go like, well, I guess that's the problem. Why it matters. They're making independent decisions to set themselves up for success in November. Now, again, this is the problem with the media reporting here, and I'm going to go to you in a second here, is this is like, oh yeah, this is the solution. The solution and how we get Democrats elected is to not do anything. What do you think?
Yeah, we have tried nothing. This is the Democrats right now. We have tried nothing and we're out of ideas. I don't understand. Like, why are our polls so bad? I guess we just have to double down on doing absolutely nothing. This is. I can't believe people get paid as politicians, and let's be honest, this is consultants, this is the donors to come up with this stuff. And that's just ultimately you're running the show, calling the shots, is you have the donors saying, I don't want anything else to be done for the American people. I want to continue to be able to overcharge them because is there supply chain issues? Of course. Is there, stuff as a result of the pandemic that's making it harder for certain things? Yes. But we've seen numerous examples of CEOs saying, oh yeah, no, we raised prices even more than we needed to cover the increased costs of supply. And we're just doing it so that we can make an extra buck. Because we've already made so much money. But it's not enough. We got to make more.
And we're going to use inflation. Crazy is that like they're already like even before the pandemic they were already making so much money, like thousands and thousands and thousands of percent on like the average worker's pay, and like you'd think, oh, like maybe I'll cut my own pay for like a couple of weeks maybe because of this. No, in fact they're widening the gap. That's the thing that's crazy is because like it's the inflation is just magical. Like money doesn't even exist. Like it's all fake anyway, right? So it's like they put like all of this like like the Walmart, for example, which I read an article about, they already have this, like they monopolize the market by making their prices super low. It makes everyone else get out of business, right? Because they can afford the hit. And then they jack their prices up. And then there's a pandemic, right? So then you remember when the toilet paper shortage happened? That's where like they got this idea that if we just don't put things on the shelves as much, we're going to convince people that there's, like there's not enough supply, that we need more demand. And then they raise the prices, and then masks, right? Masks have gone up. Like, how is this even possible that we're living in this society in a pandemic where masks have gone up like 5 times, right? Like masks are just way more expensive. Yeah. Then there's counterfeit masks you have to worry about. And this is the same thing. Like I read an article earlier about grocery store tips. Like the media, like this is a new beat for the media. It's like, oh, how can we give Americans like these hot tips to save some dollars at the grocery store? I'm all for hot tips, saving some dollars at the grocery store. But if we're going to not just, talk about the elephant in the room, is that we're being, price gouged on everything. It's not just masks anymore. It's not just hand sanitizer. It's not just pandemic stuff. It's everything. Everything we're being price gouged on. And the minimum wage is stagnant. Wages are stagnant. In fact, in a lot of areas, wages are going down. So it's like, I don't know. Like, this is incredible to me. And the media, there's this whole apparatus, right? Where the media is just like, yeah, we're going to print these lies so that we can give the politicians cover. And then no one cares. Like, no one cares. Like, it's incredible to me. So I don't even want to bother reading the rest of this because I don't care. But again, go on.
You hit on it perfectly. It's not just it's the greed. That's all it is. It's greed, and then of course you have the news actors out there that also don't want things like Build Back Better. Look, I've given up. I'd given up on Build Back Better a long time ago. It was never going to happen. As soon as they decoupled the bills, you knew it was over.
That was it. Yeah,
absolutely. They got the bipartisan corporate handout bill, billions of dollars in what's essentially pork. And I'm not saying everything in it is terrible. We do need infrastructure, but that is a massive handout to corporations. And no, we're not going to see any of the benefits for years and years and years of, rebuilt infrastructure, which, by the way, some of it gets privatized. So now we're going to have toll booths, we're going to have toll, bridges. Once those are built, none of that is actually going to help the average American, the average worker. I mean, sure, they'll have construction projects, but you also have to pay people to do the construction. And that's been, difficult because they don't pay people enough to do the things that we need to get done anyway. And so what this is that it's just a gigantic pork barrel. And now that they've taken all that money, trillions of dollars, and redistributed it to the top, leaving it, without anyone else. Yes, that is all this money that got pumped into the economy. But it didn't go to you. It didn't go to me. I'm sorry. The $1,200 check. No, the $1,200 check, and then we got some people got some unemployment benefits, and that's it.
And they're trying to get that back on taxes and all that. They're trying to do this thing where if you don't file correctly, then it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And now they're trying to tell the Americans, like, you don't even deserve the stimulus checks, and we're sorry we gave them to you, and you should be sorry because now inflation is good. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's incredible to me. And what you were saying about the infrastructure thing is so important because, like, my opinion, by the time the Democrats could even point at anything in the infrastructure bill, like, it's going to take 10 years to get results. By that time, we're going to be in, like, the Trump fascist, like, Reich, so, like, by the time that any of that project can be taken credit by the Democrats, there will be no such thing as a Democratic Party anymore,
And besides, President Kyle Rittenhouse will probably take credit for it anyway.
That's exactly right. And, like, and the one big thing that they were doing last year that, like, had any chance of being popular that they could run on was the child tax credit, right?
And that's gone.
And it's gone. And they're like, but you
don't understand, Andrea. It was the parliamentarian. Right, it was a mansion. It was cinema, and we couldn't actually get rid of the filibuster, even though we didn't really try to get rid of the filibuster.
And now we have this senator that has like a stroke or whatever, so they're out. So like now we got a Republican Senate full on. Just
It just feels like they don't want to do anything, and it's true, they don't want to do anything. They're they blame it on process, and you see this every time the Democrats get into power, get any kind of power, how suddenly they're just completely helpless. But when we had Republicans in power, well, they pushed through gigantic tax cuts for the rich. And that was their big crowning achievement. And yeah, they didn't get the stupid shit like the wall, because they didn't really actually want it. Donald Trump wanted it. His Chud followers wanted it. But the business interests were like, no. You understand, we like cheap foreign labor coming in.
Exactly, right.
We like to exploit the immigrants. And so, no, we don't want that wall. Fuck that. That's not going to happen.
I love the little bits of wall, though, that, like, you can just, like, slip through. Like, oh my.
Yeah, the little steel slats, which are fun. The ones that fell down, that's the best.
Yeah. I mean, this whole
beautiful wall.
This whole experiment is running. It's not looking so good. I want to talk about this story next and get into some like right-wing douchebag